In the year 2145, the world had become a place where words were no longer free. The Global Language Regulation Authority, GLRA, had started with good intentions, aiming to eliminate hate speech and harmful language. However, over the decades, their list of banned words grew exponentially, encompassing not just offensive terms but also everyday words deemed potentially problematic. In the bustling city of Neo-Tokyo, citizens navigated their lives under the watchful eyes of the GLRA. Every conversation, every written word was monitored by advanced AI systems. The slightest slip could result in severe penalties, from hefty fines to mandatory re-education sessions. Lena, a young journalist, had always been passionate about the power of words. She remembered a time when people could speak freely, express their thoughts without fear. But now, even simple words like son, book, and friend were censored. The GLRA had deemed them too ambiguous, too open to misinterpretation. One day, while researching for an article, Lena stumbled upon an old, forgotten dictionary in a dusty corner of the library. As she flipped through its pages, she marveled at the richness of the language that had once been. Words like freedom, love, and hope leapt out at her, their meanings now lost to the new generation. Determined to reclaim the lost words, Lena joined an underground movement known as the Whisperers. This group of rebels sought to preserve the true essence of language, meeting in secret to share stories and poems from the past. They believed that words held power, and that by reviving them, they could spark a revolution. The Whisperers communicated through coded messages, using symbols and gestures to convey their thoughts. They knew the risks, but the desire to break free from the oppressive silence drove them forward. One evening, during a clandestine meeting, Lena shared her discovery of the old dictionary. The Whisperers were inspired, and together, they devised a plan to broadcast a message to the entire city. They would use the forbidden words, hoping to awaken the dormant memories of the people. As the day of the broadcast approached, tension filled the air. The Whisperers knew that failure could mean the end of their movement, but they were willing to take the risk. Lena stood before the microphone, her heart pounding. She took a deep breath and began to speak. Sunday book. Friend. Freedom. Love. Hope. The words echoed through the city, carried by the wind. For a moment, there was silence. Then, slowly, people began to remember. They recalled the warmth of the sun, the joy of reading a book, the comfort of a friend's embrace. The city stirred with a newfound energy, a collective awakening. The GLRA, however, was swift and merciless in its response. Within hours, the city was placed under lockdown. Drones patrolled the skies, and armed enforcers roamed the streets. The Whisperers were hunted down, their hideouts raided, and their members arrested. Lena was captured and brought before a tribunal. The charges against her were severe: inciting rebellion, spreading forbidden words, and endangering public order. Despite her passionate defense, the verdict was predetermined. She was sentenced to life in a re-education facility, where her memories would be systematically erased. The crackdown was brutal and effective. The GLRA tightened its grip, expanding the list of banned words even further. The people of Neo-Tokyo, once stirred by the promise of freedom, were plunged back into a deeper silence. Fear replaced the fleeting hope that had briefly ignited their hearts. Lena's story became a cautionary tale, whispered in hushed tones by those who still dared to remember. The Whisperers were no more, their legacy buried under layers of censorship and control. The city continued to function, but the vibrant spirit of its people was forever dimmed. In the end, the silence of everyday life prevailed, a stark reminder of the power of words and the cost of their suppression.